3, 2, 1.
Hi, I'm Bert Stefanie, a portrait and live photographer from Belgium, but the last year or so it feels like I've become the portable smoke machine guy on YouTube. About a year ago I tested the PMI SmokeNINJA, a half year later I tested the LensGo Smoke B, and it looks like we're not done yet, because I have here the SmokeNINJA Pro Hazer Kit. And I'm really curious to see how it goes, because I like haze a lot more than smoke. PMI sent me this kit for free, but no money changed hands. My opinions are my own as usual, and they get to see this video at the same time as you get to see it. They had no say over the contents of this video. And they were actually pretty cool about it, because they said, we don't really want a review. We would like you to show people how you can use haze in photography. So that's exactly what we are going to do. I'm going to show you a couple of ways to use haze in your photography. And at the end of the video, I will give you a quick rundown about the SmokeNINJA machine itself. Mind you, this all comes from the point of view of a photographer who likes to travel light, who likes to keep things really simple. In fact, it's quite amazing if you think about it, that in this backpack I got lenses, cameras, I got continuous lights, I got flashes, and I have a smoke machine. Probably half of it is in it because of you to make this video, because normally my load would be even lighter. So how do you haze a room or a scene? It's important to think about the space, to think about the scene rather than the subject. You can't really haze a subject. So I have the SmokeNINJA Pro here and the hazer attachment, and we're gonna see if we can fill the room with a base layer of haze. So you basically start with adding a good layer of haze. Don't add too much at the start, because haze needs a little bit of time to linger and to place itself. So we're gonna fill it up, but not overfill it for now. You gotta make sure that your haze is spread out evenly, which is actually quite easy with this haze attachment. But also make sure that you have some in the bottom, that you have some above. Now you have to make sure that there are no smoke detectors, because this haze can set them off. So it basically just took a couple of minutes to haze this pretty decent sized attic. What I'm gonna do now is to let it linger, let it settle for a couple of minutes, and then see if I need to add more. If you don't have a lot of airflow in a space, then it can take a pretty long time to get rid of the haze. So it's better to build it up layer by layer than have too much, because you might have to wait quite a long time before the haze is back down. We all have the tendency, definitely when something is new, to use way too much of it, to overdo it. And that's probably what I'm going to do today as well. But just to make it sure that everything is really clear for you. I think what we have now is a good base layer of haze, so it's time to start shooting. You have to keep an eye on the haze level and every now and then top it up a little bit if necessary, but haze should linger for quite a while, so you should be good to shoot for 5-10 minutes before you have to add some more. So we are shooting here with just the soft ambient light coming in from that side of the attic. I always start with what's available and then I can still make more light if I need to, if I want to, but if it's already here, why not use it? Now the thing with Haze is that you don't want to use lenses that are too long. I generally don't use anything longer than a 50, maybe an 85 equivalent, because the farther you go away from your subject and the longer lens you're using, the more haze you're gonna get between you and the subject. And it's good to have a little bit of haze between the camera and the subject because it softens everything. But if you go too far away, then it becomes a bit muddy and ugly. So that's why I would say use like medium lenses, maybe a very short telephoto, but nothing longer than that. I'm basically going to avoid frontal light when shooting with haze, because if I'm standing over here and Lara is standing over here, again I'm gonna have a bit of a muddy look to it because there's too much direct light. It gets very soft and even too soft to make it pretty. So generally I use side light or backlight. So Lara, if you stand over here and keep your head a bit that way. So this way I get like a very soft look, and because of all the particles, they're gonna reflect a little bit of light and they're gonna fill in the shadow side just that little bit. So try to use the light behind or to the side of your subject.
Will she ever find someone who will fill the void left behind when the one she loved and thinks only of daily haunts her lonely mind? So she closes the window and locks the door, and she tries hard to keep her heart from hurting anymore.
I always love it if you can use this soft light as a backlight from high up, and the little haze that's still lingering here will provide a little bit of fill light, but I'm basically going to shoot this completely backlit. So we're still using that soft light. We're losing it, but I want to use the last of it. But we use the boilers as the backdrop basically. But the problem is that we have nice light coming from this side, but on this side, and also because the background is rather dark, she has dark hair, I've placed a little speed light in the back there to get a bit of hair light. So the light that's coming through the window is pretty orange and yellow, so I added a little CTO filter on the flash to put them even. In my idea it's gonna be black and white, but it's better to balance them out just in case if I want to make this into a color picture. And because we have that flash in the background, it's going through the haze, it gives a bit more volume to the whole scene. It lights up all these little particles, and that gives the scene a certain kind of density. It lights up all the really dark parts of the image, so you basically compress the dynamic range a little bit, and that gives for a more cinematic feel. So we're still shooting with the same main light, and we have that little window in the back that takes care of some separation, but it's actually not enough. So I basically want to give the feeling that we have some more light and some stronger light coming from the back. So if we have Lara on this side, and we have a little speed light behind Lara. So it's basically mimicking the same direction as that little window in the back, so that gives me hopefully a bit more magical separation. One of the really nice things about Haze is that it makes the rays of light visible, particularly when it's really focused light. So for example, with a studio light with a Fresnel lens, with a very strong flashlight, or like I'm using here, an old office beamer, and that makes the light very visible, not just where it reflects off, not just the light source, but everything in between, and that really fills your picture with some density. It's called volumetric lighting. It's a term used very often in cinema, but we can use it in photography just as well. So I'm just projecting a YouTube movie to get me a lots of variations in colors and the beams. So I'm just gonna add a little more haze, and then we're gonna shoot into that volumetric light. So I have this little light panel as the main light, and then we have the beamer as the backlight to get all those really nice rays of light coming out of the incredible charismatic Lara. The one problem that I have is with the haze, everything gets lit up a bit, so my light is actually spilling a bit on the background, which I don't want. So I'm going to have to make sure that the light is blocked from this side. The best way to do that is use a flag, and if you don't have a flag, gaffer tape will come in handy. One moment. What they say about gaffer tape is true. If you can't fix it with gaffer tape, you haven't used enough. I just finished editing these images and I'm pretty happy with the results, although we only had a couple of hours to shoot the pictures and make the video at the same time. I definitely hope that you learned something about Haze and that it is something you may want to try. For those interested in the PMI SmokeNINJA, this is the kit that I have been using. Now I will quickly go over a couple of things. I'm not gonna do a full review. Pretty much of everything I said of my original SmokeNINJA video, I'll link it somewhere, is still valid. But the big thing with the new one to me is that it can go for way longer bursts. Like the original one could do, I think it was 1 minute, which is already quite a bit of smoke. But the new one can do like 3 minutes, and it cools down a lot faster. So you can work a lot faster, make a lot more smoke with the new one, although it looks pretty much the same as the previous one. The one thing that you have to keep in mind with this added power and duration is that you will run out of batteries just a little bit quicker, but for this whole shoot we just used one battery. By the end it was pretty much finished, but it uses these pretty standard batteries, so you can always get a second one and you can charge it through USB-C as well. The other thing you have to keep in mind when doing a lot of haze like we did is to just make sure that the tank stays full. But it lasts quite a bit. I think I added liquid once or twice during the whole shoot. Now the kit comes with a bottle of liquid. This is highly concentrated, so you'll get a lot of haze and smoke out of this one. It also comes with a remote control. It comes with a bunch of accessories to create all kinds of smoke and dry ice effects. It's like in the top compartment here, but I'm not going to show all those. The one thing that I am going to show you is the haze accessory. So this thing basically just fits on top of the SmokeNINJA and it's ready to go. It has a separate battery, also can be charged through USB-C, and I believe it has 3 different settings, so you can blow it harder or less hard, and it is connected through Bluetooth with the device, so the blower will start once you start to put out smoke and will stop to save the battery and prevent noise coming from the fan or 2 things that you have to switch off. So I said it before, smoke is nice, but it's an effect that's easily overdone. It's a bit like a fisheye or something. It's good for 1 or 2 pictures, but then it becomes boring rather quickly. But haze is something very differently. But a big haze machine that you have to plug in a wall and everything is very cumbersome. Definitely if you're like me and you like traveling light, traveling with very minimal gear, then this thing will come in very handy. I'm really happy with the machine and the haze attachment. It makes real haze really fast, really convenient, and it lasts a long time. So this is something that will be in my kit quite often from now on. And I guess that's it for this video. Big thanks to my girlfriend for helping me out and doing a bit of behind the scenes filming. Big thanks to Lara for being patient during this shoot. And a big thanks to PMI for letting me have a play with this thing in all freedom and creativity. And of course, a big thanks to you for watching this video. And if you're looking for more, please subscribe to my email newsletter. It's irregular, but I'm trying to get better at it. You can find it on my website, on the link here. So you would do me a big favor by subscribing to my email list. And I'll be happy to see you in the next video.